Hello everyone, welcome back to the Guilty Pleasure Cinema, celebrating the movies you're embarrassed to love. Think of classic vampire slayers. Most of you are probably thinking of Van Helsing, from Van Helsing and Dracula, of course. Some of you are probably thinking Blade, Marvel's character. Yeah, Wesley Snipes, good, yeah. I bet some are thinking of probably John Carpenter's vampires as well. Yeah. And I'm willing to bet there's a lot of people thinking TV's Buffy the Vampire Slayer. That's not what this is. This is the movie version of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. A ditzy cheerleader who's not really all that ditzy, let's be honest. She's smarter than that, but we'll play on the idea here. It's Buffy, she's all pink, Christy Swanson. We get it. Buffy, she's a bimbo. But she's not. But she is a cheerleader in California and is exactly what you'd expect from that. Except one day she finds out that she is the latest in a long line of legendary warrior vampire slayers. Which is kind of awesome for a teenage cheerleader from California. When you think of noble warrior women, you don't think cheerleader, and yet the physicality is and dedication there, and it works. The concept is great in that aspect, and everything plays off of that with her trying to stop the vampire lord Lothos, played by Rutger Hauer, from destroying everything, because that's what a vampire lord does. So this is Joss Whedon's creation, and how he treats this one is kind of like this. It was changed a lot from his original vision. The TV show is much more accurate to what he wanted. What I feel with this, though, is they changed a lot of things for the better. I know. What? Hear me out. This takes the core concept to that nth degree. It goes all out with the idea of a cheerleader as the new girl in the long line of slayers. It plays on the whole concept, maybe a bit on the nose, but that works because it makes the concepts immediately recognizable without having to think about it. You literally take a bimbo cheerleader and give her a steak and say, hunt vampires. It's that simple. The most fun about this whole thing, honestly, is that it is a crossover in and of itself. It's the idea of a cheerleader who is now a vampire slayer. And when you think about the idea of this ancient order over decades and centuries and millennia, eventually, when they go get that new teenage girl, you're going to get someone like that. And that's just the natural thing of the times. If they got one in the 70s, maybe not. If they got one in the 60s, could be a go-go girl. Right? So if you're going to get your next version and it's going to be in 1990 California, there you go. Now what's awesome is she doesn't get it. I mean, she does, vampires, whatever, but she doesn't care in the sense of, I will change my life and dedicate it to fighting vampires. No, it's, I want to marry Christian Slater and die. That's a quote on the back even. That's her whole life's goal. And damn vampires being in the way, she handles them the way she would handle them. With a little bit of training, and that's about it. The awesome part is that the Watcher, Donald Sutherland, and Rutger Hauer and the vampires don't know what to expect from her. They look at her like, really? As if, which is such a her thing to say, and it works for both sides because they underestimate her. They underestimate her completely, and yet she's a cheerleader. That's athletic. That's capable. She is a ray of light, which hurts vampires. Not literally, but you know what I mean. There's silly things like PMS, getting cramps, and that actually enables her to sense vampires in danger, like a spidey sense, and it's weird. But the whole idea of this, in that the vampires underestimate her, and the Watcher doesn't really get what she is. Like, he's like, oh God, but I see something in her, so let's do this. That makes all the difference in the world. That enables her to basically pull this off. And thanks to Christy Swanson, she pulls it off. Not like that, come on. She is the personification of 90s California cheerleader hotness. Very bois. And yet she's not ditzy at all. And that's the whole point of the character. It works great. You've got Donald Sutherland, who is always awesome. Kind of looks like my dad. He's awesome in this as the Watcher mentor type. Rutger Hauer is his Rutger Haueriest as the bad guy. And Paul Rubin steals the show in a scene that many people either love or hate. His death scene is legend. And I've not spoiled it by telling... It's a vampire, of course. Come on. What do you think she's going to do? Oh, yeah, and Luke Perry's in it. Some hate it for being a lesser version and changed vision of what the TV show ended up being. Joss Whedon got a second chance with that, and then went over with Serenity and Firefly, and directed the frickin' Marvel movies and helped make them what they are for Avengers. It's okay. But this is the epitome of something knowing what it is. I love the silly tone. I love the goofy aspect. I love the bright colors. It's a simple, simple thing. And really, look. It's called Buffy the Vampire Slayer. It knows exactly what it is. Embrace it. And you shouldn't feel guilty about it if it's a movie you love.